Chase, welcome. Hooked, welcome. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, it's good. Thank you for having us. I just saw the picture of me frozen and it was not the best one. So thanks for that introduction to the stream.
Man.
Hey guys, this is Hooked.
This is Hooked.
He does weird faces like this.
Hey, someone will clip that and that's good. It'll get turned into a moat for you. It'll be perfect. It'll be great. But there we go. Chase, have you done like a face reveal before?
Well, do you want a clickbait title?
Yeah, maybe this could maybe be. I mean, we did a face reveal on this on the Mack Report.
Right.
I mean,
then I haven't done one. So
excellent.
You're good.
I like that. And Sir Moose as well. So look at that.
Oh,
but there we go.
Getting all the face reveals, huh?
Exactly. I mean, I bullied Shide into it. Sir Moose and I was a little bit less sure about bullying him. It just kind of happened with him. I wasn't sure right up until we went live whether or not he was actually going to turn his camera on or not. I don't think he was sure either. He was brave and he went for it. Hooked. Public apology. I've already apologized to you earlier as well. So in case anyone doesn't know, Hooked is from Australia. It's in the morning in Australia right now. Flipping early, and we have messed Hooked about, I have messed you about so much, man, so I'm really sorry. This was going to happen last night, and then I double booked myself. It was a nightmare. So Hook's had to get up early, and yeah, so cheers, man. Thank you so much.
Least I could do.
Right, we've got the usual questions to go for to start us off. All right, what we'll do is we'll start the way these are up on the screen. I've got Chase and then I've got Hooked. All right, so we'll go with Chase first, just so you guys know who's speaking first, because I know it's when there's two views on, it's a bit confusing. Okay. Wait, Shite did a face reveal. Yeah, Tony, man, you need to go and find that on YouTube, man. It's good. It's hilarious that that video. Anyway, so when did you first start playing? Chase, start us off.
Right. First of all, I don't think I said thank you for having me on.
Hey, no worries, man.
It's awesome. When did I start? I started back in January of 2014, I believe, and I've been playing like on and off ever since. I kind of quit for a little bit when school started up again, and then got back into it towards the end of school.
Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah.
Hooked, what about you? When did you start playing?
It was February 2013, so it was pretty soon after the game came out. My brothers started playing it because it kind of just went through our school. So there was just a lot of people playing it, so they started playing it, and then I was the last to give it a go, and I was quite skeptical about it, so it just wasn't my sort of thing. And then I wish I'd trust my gut, because here we are 8 years later, and I'm more involved in the game than ever, sometimes to my own detriment.
Yeah, you were saying that 4 hours sleep, and you've got a stream straight after this as well, haven't you? So, yeah, good effort, man. Right, what's your favourite Townhall level then? Chase, start us off with that one.
Definitely whatever is the maxed one. So right now 14, but I really enjoyed 13. And 12 was pretty fun, even though I kind of just rushed to 13. But yeah, I think 12 looks the coolest.
12 looks the coolest. Okay.
I like that blue color.
Yeah, the blue aesthetic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't agree, but it does look
give you a weird face there when you said that. This is interesting.
Yeah,
I'm liking this. It's got a bit of heat going on. Yeah.
No, I can live with Townhall 12. That's one of the better looking ones, but to me, it's obviously Townhall 10. Like it's got the lava theme. It looks great, and also it just happens to be the best Townhall in the game. I was Townhall 10 in the competitive scene, I reckon, for about 2.5, 3 years, because it stayed in the game a while. And
yeah, it was kind of stuck then, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like the most balanced Townhall we ever had. To be honest, I wish it went back to that. You had to work so hard to triple. I remember in the early seasons of the Champions War League, the CWL, and we'd spend hours on voice just trying to come up with one plan. And, I'd be on voice sometimes 11 or 12 hours of a day, and we'd, come up with a few plans, and they wouldn't triple other Townhall 10s, or we'd be planning on Townhall 11s. But that was probably my favorite time in Clash, was Townhall 10. And I wish we could go back to the sort of balance it had, because triples meant something. Whereas these days, triples are just like, you did your job.
Yeah, the defenses are the things that mean something now, aren't they? They're the significant points. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Although I'm rubbish, so I quite like being able to, there's a little bit of a chance of me tripling sometimes. So, that's quite nice. Lando, hello, man. Welcome to the stream.
On the Townhall 12s, or the Townhall 10. I missed out on that competitive scene. I joined competitive only 2 years ago.
I was Townhall 9 and just getting to Townhall 10, and then Townhall 11 came out, so I was never really properly competitive until... I'm still not really properly competitive.
But the best part about Townhall 10 is it's still balanced to this day. Like, it is hard to triple. If you only get Townhall 10 troops in your CC, good luck to you. Genuinely.
Yeah. Is that with no siege? Yeah?
Townhall, no siege.
Yeah.
But Townhall 10 troops. Like, if you can do it, kudos to you, but it's not easy.
Okay, then.
That update they had with you only get, what is it? They limit the Clan Castle troops levels that you get for Townhall 10 and 11. I think that helped, right? Where the levels.
I know. I remember that update. I can't remember what it was exactly. Whether it was 0, 1, or 2 levels that they capped out, but that was definitely an improvement.
Yeah, I think so.
So, what's your favorite strategy or troop? Strategy or troop, what's your favourite one?
Definitely Lalo and the balloons. I love the creativity of Lalo, that you can just use it any way you want, like Skelly Donut, Blizz, all sorts of zap. Yeah.
Cool, man. I think that works. Chase, what about you? Sorry, Hooked. Sorry, guys. Hooked, what about you?
Well, that was always going to be my answer.
You're allowed to have the same opinion. That's okay.
No,
you don't have to disagree.
But that's not interesting. I love Dragbat. Dragbat's like one of those alternative strategies that is so underused, but it's quite strong. It's just because bats can, fall apart so quickly that people don't use it. But I've always enjoyed Dragbat for a while now. It's one of my favorite non-Lalo strategies.
Yeah, okay, I like that. I like a Lalo bat. That's always exciting as well, isn't it? When you get a wee Lalo with some bats thrown in at the end, that's always fun.
Yeah, look, we've tried that a few times. Red Bombs didn't agree, so I gave up.
Fair enough. Mr. E, thank you for the sub. Oh, MW as well, thank you for the sub. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to miss subs and all that while we're talking, but thank you, guys. Right, okay, where does your... Now, this one is normally, where does your in-game name come from? But you might want to change that to... Let's change it for, where does your sort of channel name come from? Let's go with that. So, Chase the Ace, to give you your full title. Where did you come up with that? And is it your in-game name as well, I suppose?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's my in-game name. My name actually was originally just Chase. And what's funny is when the first clan I joined, it was one of the Reddit clans, the Reddit clan system. And what happened was there was another guy named Chase as well, same spelling. We were also the same Townhall, the same level, and in the same league. I think we were in Gold 3. So they couldn't tell us apart. So I had to 2 or 3 weeks later, the name change came out. I was like, oh, get on that right away.
Happy days. And so Chase isn't your name or anything?
No, it is.
Oh, okay. It is Chase as well. Okay. Happy
days. The Ace is also my legal last name.
Yeah. Go on then, Hooked. What about yours? Where did that come from?
Well, Hooked was just auto-generated, actually. Back in the day, for Game Center, when you use Game Center instead of Supercell ID on I think it was just on Apple devices, it was just auto-generated, and we rolled with it because I was like, oh well, it's just a good name, and it went from there. And look, I get called hooker more than anything these days, so it's not even really hooked at this point, but yeah, I liked it. And then it just ended up being really nice for a channel name as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's just do that. Some people were like, you should be hooked on Clash, not hooked to Clash. I'm like, yeah, but that just doesn't roll off the tongue as well. Like,
so is it hooked to Clash? I actually thought it was hooked on Clash. How bad is that? I'm sorry, man. Right, okay.
You know what?
You're gonna hang up on me now.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
Hey, well, we fixed it. Don't worry. On the YouTube video, there'll be a link to the channel, and it'll be fine. And YouTube knows what it is.
It'll be the wrong.
Yeah,
channel.
I'll link to some random channel. I'll make sure it's the right one. I'll get it sorted.
Hooked on Clash.
Chase, are you like a poker player or something? Is that why it was Chase the Ace?
Yeah, I do a little poker. I think Mac was there when in UW when we were waiting for that, the first world qualifier when we were just waiting.
Yeah, and you were just making millions playing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
Do you remember that 6-hour lobby wait in the May pre-Worlds when you just sat for 6 hours doing nothing? And well, actually got to know people really well. You just sat and chat and laughed at a Discord channel that was basically melting. Like the world was just dying. It was hilarious. And
that was a. Sorry, you go on.
No, go for it. That was
That was just the worst day ever.
Yeah.
That qualifier started at 8 p.m. my time. And I was initially thinking going in, this is perfect. And I set myself up as the captain because it was just at a great time for me. Whereas like the Americans in our team, it was like 6 a.m. So it just made sense for me to be the captain. We got our first match started at 2 a.m. But because I'm the captain, they can't just like I can't just sleep and then they'll wake me up by calling me. Like I have to be there checking us in, otherwise it's all over. So like I didn't sleep until when was it? I think day one ended 9 a.m.
So
and we made it through the whole first day, only to be eliminated in the very first round the next day.
The exact same thing happened to me. Yeah, the exact same thing happened to us at Funfair. We made it through the whole first day, and then Omni smashed us the first round of the second day. But I remember we double booked it. I double booked myself, and I was like, I've got to go out with my kids, and I'm meeting up with. I think I was meeting up with my mum and dad. We're going on a walk and all this sort of stuff, and it was all a bit like. It's like we've got a bit of time, and then like it got closer and closer to this time, and I was like, guys, I'm gonna have to go out. I'll keep checking in every 45 minutes. I'm gonna have to do my hits while we're out. I went out for a walk, went out for food, came back, and it still hadn't started. We were still just sat in the lobby waiting for everything to get sorted out. It was good fun, it was fun, and Chase played poker the whole time. So
yeah, as annoying as it was actually it ended up being pretty fun.
Yeah, it was. It's just occasionally just tuning into that Discord channel and just watching like the world end. It's like a meltdown. It's so funny. People just spamming everything. Right, the final one, which has been added in fairly recently. Paul Blart Mallcop asked this during viewer questions all the time, and it's so interesting that I've started adding into the beginning. Okay, so what's your favourite type of cheese? The real questions that everyone wants to know the answers to.
I'd go with cheddar, I guess.
Cheddar.
Yeah.
Americans don't really know cheese, it turns out.
Nah, not really.
Because Americans always kind of say like,
cheese.
yeah, cheddar, just normal cheese.
Yeah.
Hooked, what about you? Do Australians know cheese?
I'm actually not. No, Australians know a little bit about cheese. There's like, plenty of people do have it, but I'm not a cheese person at all. Like, unless it's like, part of like a toasted sandwich sort of thing. I'm not like
something
big
melty
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind melted cheese. Like, that's fine, but like, I don't know. I'm not a big cheese person. Never have been, never will be.
That's absolutely fine. It's your opinion. You're allowed to have that. I think you've probably gone down in Paul Blart Mallcop's estimations, but he's not here, so don't worry about it. He's not here just now. He'll watch this back on YouTube and he'll just like throw his phone across the room or something. It'll be fine. It'll be alright.
He'll say, "I'm never going to subscribe to his YouTube," but you've put the wrong YouTube.
Yeah,
link
exactly.
Anyway, so
Aha! And now
good.
the plan comes to see. We've worked it all out. That's what it was. It's all part of the evil plan, right? Okay, so I've got you guys on specifically to talk about the Worlds. Now, it's been a couple of weeks, and we were having a quick check of the bracket before we came on because memories are a bit fuzzy. It's been a wee bit of time. But the reason I got both of you on, I started chatting to Chase on Twitter and then on Discord, just sort of bouncing back, and I was like, is there like a statistical background for this? And I was like, you know what, we're going back and forth so much, we want to make this an actual conversation. And then Hooked, you were suggested to come on this as well by Chase, because you were one of the few people that tipped JX Tiger at the start or before the Worlds. As far as I was concerned, and I remember Susie in my chat saying as well that she'd seen a lot of JX Tiger just because of when she streams and all that, and she quite enjoyed. She was saying that they were looking quite decent, but they weren't really for me anyone's sort of like top team. They were kind of like very much an outlier. So that's why you guys are on here. You're going to explain it all. But I thought the best place to start was actually to go the other way around and ask a slightly different question and ask what went wrong with ATN. I think that's an interesting place to start with this, because I had, before the tournament, I had Eric and Itsu and Adam on, and they all said, oh, there's some decent teams in here, but we've got to back ATN. Were you guys surprised with what happened with ATN? You can make yourself sound really grand now. Go for it. Someone say something.
I was pretty surprised, yeah. I thought, all the teams are so good this year. Every single team, like every lineup was amazing. And this was definitely, because Townhall 13 won, it seemed like there was like a clear favorite.
Yeah.
With ATN for Townhall 13. But with this one, it was pretty much anyone's game. Queen Walker's had a solid lineup. JX Tiger, ATN Tribe, Aphelion, Bad Zinger, literally all of them. Batang. And
so what do you think? What do you think
ATN,
went wrong?
Yeah, with ATN, with their attacks, it was just like a couple time fails, right? Isn't that that was how they lost, right? Just a few time fails.
Yeah, it was like literally 14 stars, I think, that kind of comes back almost to what you were saying with the tripling is the expectation now, isn't it? So yeah, go for it, Hook. Tell us.
Nothing went wrong with ATN. I reckon of all the other 7 teams they could have run into, Tribe was the worst matchup for them. Just because Tribe and them play all the time, and it's just
they know each other.
Yeah, they know each other way too well for their liking. Tribe put up a perfect war. I'm not going to say that ATN's bases were the problem, because ATN's bases have been reasons they've won world championships in the past, and you can't just pick when you say they're good and when they're bad. I just always believe in their bases, so I don't think anything went wrong. They put up 14, and the one fail was because of a stupid wall breaker AI, and somehow Mask still saved it and nearly tripled. Go before everyone throws shade at Mask, which too many people did, which is sad because he's a lovely person. Go watch that replay. That wall breaker, the first wall breaker was fine. He was trying to sneaky the town hall. That second wall breaker just did not behave at all, and it cost him. And he still did a really good recovery. But if Tribe's not going to fail, there's not much you can do about that. And then they ran into Bad Zinger, and you don't want to run into Bad Zinger in the lower bracket. They literally don't lose. They are the lower bracket, they are the lower bracket gods. Yeah. There is no worse team. So they just got 2 really bad matchups. So I don't think ATN did anything wrong. It just says how strong the competition is. Look, they couldn't have got a worse matchup, but there was also other teams that could have done that. It's surprising, obviously, because everyone had them high, but they didn't do anything wrong. It just didn't fall into place for them, and you need a bit of luck to win a world championship.
Yeah,
and they just didn't get that luck.
And that is, we talked about that beforehand. All of these matchups, there was no definite winner for any of the first matchups. You had some really like Bads, JX Tiger, Aphelion, the the silver ticket winners or the wild card guys, like those guys that had come in as well, like they were so strong. They had just proven themselves. Aphelion and Tribe had just come in, having absolutely dominated the previous month. So like they were really strong candidates in there as well, and it's just crazy. But yeah, Rick's in the chat. Raquires is in the chat. Raquires seems to be giving Hooked some abuse. I don't know where that comes from.
Definitely doesn't go both ways.
Yeah, you're always kind to him on your streams. But yeah, so Badzinger, I think that's the thing, coming in and absolutely coming up against ATN. I think dropping it in the lower bracket. I don't necessarily think. I mean, Rick, you can maybe answer this in chat. Were you expecting to see ATN? Had you kind of prepared for Tribe, or had you not? You hadn't prepared for going into the lower bracket, possibly. Anyway, you just like, I don't know. But yeah, tell us about that. Rick coming in with a sub as well. I've got some other questions here as well.
But yeah, no, just to sum it all up, ATN, look, it wasn't the best worlds for them, but people still have them as one of the best teams in the world regardless, and they'll be there next year.
Rick says, I don't think we really planned what's going to happen. Nice, Rick. I think that doesn't... even if they did plan, Rick, you wouldn't know because they probably planned it in Russian and just pointed you at a base to hit. Yeah, he kind of does his own thing in Bazinger. Do you think we'll see any roster changes for ATN, or do you think they're set?
The only reason I think you'd... Sorry, Chase, I jumped in. You go.
Oh, no, it's all good. We can alternate if you want. Going first.
No, it's just get more confusing than anything.
Okay. All right. Well, actually, my lips are sealed for this one. I know some things.
Whoa. No way, man.
Nope.
You can't say that. That's literally the worst thing someone could say.
Yeah. But, yeah, no.
Is Chase about to sign for ATN? Is that what just happened? Is that what was just revealed?
Soon.
Right, go on then. Fill the silence. Tell us about if you think there's going to be roster changes. And
now I just feel out of the loop.
Yeah, exactly. Well, basically, while you talk, I'm going to look at Chase, and we're going to see if his eyes give anything away with what you say. Okay.
Damn, I should have just said that myself. I can't say, even though I know nothing about it, just so that people can be like, damn, what does Hook know? Because then Hook's the cool guy. Now I'm just the guy who knows nothing.
Hey, you and me as well.
Well, maybe I'm just saying this. Maybe I'm just saying it.
You can never know in Clash just because of how retirements go. Like there could be a few people on the team, for all I know, retiring. I know, like it happens every year with Clash because the esport you can't make a career just from being an esports player. So like it's very much just like, you know, if they want to go around back again for another year and put in that huge amount of grind. So but assuming everyone can play for next year, I don't know why they wouldn't run the same team. They've still got a ridiculously talented team.
Yeah, like the Linnaeus retiring surprised me earlier in the year, especially with the timing, because they had just qualified for the first world qualifier, and so yeah, anything can happen. And
you know what that's going to be, Chase, mate.
No,
I actually hate you right now. Anyway, me and Hooked ganging up on you. Anyway. Whatever it is it exciting, Chase? Is it good?
Maybe.
Okay, great. I'm not very good at this interviewing nonsense and trying to get information out of people.
We need to get the spotlight and start like yelling at him.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna cancel him.
I feel like one of those the Marvel actors that like when Kevin Feige is hovering over them, they can't say anything. It's like,
So when Darian came on, Darian at one point was like, I literally said nothing. We were talking about something, and he went, at one point Darian stopped and just went, oh, I almost said something I wasn't meant to. And I'm like, what? And he's like, oh, you almost got me. I'm like, I didn't say anything, man. What are you talking about? You can't say that. It's like the worst thing. And there you go. Chase just did it as well.
Yeah.
But very exciting, Chase. Whatever it is, I'm excited. Okay, then the next topic we've got is, it's a nice simple one. How did JX Tiger win? And okay, I'll give you the simple answer. They didn't lose any matches. All right, that's how they won. But do you guys want to make it maybe a bit of a fuller answer than that, than me just sort of saying because they didn't lose? It's like, go for it. Tell us some more. Why did no one else expect them to? Why were you the only person that expected them to win, or one of a very few number of people that expected them to win?
Because people don't know much about Clash, so they think. Like, don't get me wrong, like, you know, they flew in under the radar, but it's the simple thing, like, people pick the teams that are popular or they know. That's the reason Queen Walkers and ATN were the two, you know, biggest. Like, I reckon that would have summed up about 80% of people's predictions just in those two teams. And don't get me wrong, those two teams are as good a chance as JX Tiger. In fact, they're as good as chance as the other 7 people there, but that would never show because it's just a popularity thing at that point. But it's just JX Tiger was an unknown quantity for most people. Even for me, they were a slightly unknown quantity because you just don't see them a lot. And even when you did see them, you just felt like they could do a bit more. And it was just about what would that extra level of, effort that would come with, being in the World Championship, what would that bring? And I believed in them because they did the exact same thing at their qualifier. That's what convinced me, is the fact that they walked into that qualifier as a very unknown quantity. No one really knew anything, and they just destroyed that qualifier. They never really looked like losing either. It was the same thing as Worlds, and they took that golden ticket, much to the surprise of everyone. I was like, okay, when these guys put in effort, they are really, really good.
But that's like, see, for me, that's kind of like Tomp and I. Tomp and I basically turned up at Worlds or pre-qualifier, or whatever you call them, turned up at their qualifier, and then kind of dipped off and disappeared. But they were still there or thereabouts and still performing in competitions. For me, the thing with JX Tiger was that, and I know that, and this is what Susie pointed out, is that because they're Asian based, like, it's during my workday that they play. But I never really saw them making it to. They weren't a name that popped into like the finals of competitions. You had like in Clash Masters, you had Aphelion and ATN, and do you know what I mean? You had like these teams that were repeatedly popping up in competitions. It's JX Tiger were kind of like, nah, we're just going to win one competition this year. That's all we want to do. We're not going to worry about any of the other stuff. Do you know what I mean? And that was, I think that was
a few competitions though this year. Like I know myself as a player, my team's been perfected 3 times by JX Tiger this year.
Yeah, okay.
At different times, and like their offense is like, I thought their offense was potentially the best offense going in, because how are you going to build against a team that you don't know what they're going to do? Like, people, they're going to do like a couple of smash attacks, but that's one of the toughest attacks to go, right, they're doing that, let's stop that, because it's just so strong. There's so much hit points with the army. How are you going to stop it?
Yeah.
So their offense was always going to be one of the best. It was just whether their base building would be just as good, and their base building was the best at the event too. That I didn't expect as much, but I just assumed that they'd have the best offense.
Chase, from a stats point of view, is that correct?
The stats? What do the stats say?
Yeah. Tell us a stats point of view.
Now, what I found pretty interesting that I didn't see in any of the other clans was JX Tiger's their clan castle usage, like what they used in the clan castle. Against Bad Zinger, they had all 5. Oh no, 4 different clan castles. They had 4 different ones, and they were using different.
They had funky stuff in there as well, didn't they?
Yeah, nobody was using it. like a super minion ice golem. They had triple ice, headhunters, and witches. They used some funky stuff that nobody else was using, which was pretty interesting.
And you think do you think those things maybe just were enough to change things up? Do you think?
It could be, because it keeps the attacker on his toes. He doesn't know what he's running up against. The Super Minion Ice Golem one, that actually held twice out of the 3 times it was used. So that's interesting, I guess.
Yeah, it's cool. And going into it, do you know if they had did they have the best offensive record going into it? Do you have that off the top of your head? Because I know you made a table of them before.
Pulled up. Yeah.
Come on, Chase, you're the stats guy. Surely you know this all off by heart at this point.
I can't believe he's not just general. Do you know what, Chase? To fill in the gap, just tell us the news about ATN. Don't worry about it, and we'll forgive you for this time delay.
I know nothing.
It's worth a try. Almost.
No. JX Tigers. I made a list of all of them, ordered and stuff. JX Tiger was kind of middle of the road from what I observed, but again, they were streamed a lot after they won their golden ticket, so they probably weren't really trying as hard because they had just won the golden ticket. They were safe.
Yeah.
They made it. And
that's what gave me faith, is that when they put in effort, it showed.
Yeah.
You could have shown me stats going in that they averaged 10 stars of war, and I would have been like, so what? Because not to do this to Chase, but stats, particularly in Clash of Clans, when there's such a big difference in importance between competitions, stats can be quite arbitrary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because people can step up, but also people can have massive pressure on them, can't they? Depending on the competition, the money involved.
I'm a firm believer that, I know I do all the stats and stuff, but I'm a firm believer that one single stat won't really tell you much at all. But the more you gather and the more you put together, that unlocks the bigger story.
Okay, cool. Okay, next one. Is Vic the best player in the world?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Mate, he got perfect in the entire world's competition. He got perfect. He didn't slip up one.
Oh, you said Vic. I thought you said Rick. I thought you were saying Akiras. I thought it was just a silly question. No, no, Rikiras is not the best player in the world. Can't even put a bat spell down in an invis.
No, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, okay. Well, we've got that one about Rikiras out the way. That's fine. Good to know your place, where we all stand on our opinion of Rick. That's good. That's a good place to be. What about Vic, the player for JX Tiger, who got perfect? We got perfect all the way through his the qualifier weekend and during the Worlds weekend. He got perfect all the time. Does that make him the best player in the world, or just Chase says, the best one to turn up under pressure? What do we think? Hook now refuses to answer. Refuses to say anything now.
Look, clearly I've already said my piece. Please take it away.
Gotcha. I think there's a good argument for it, because he put on a clinic with the P.E.K.K.A. Smash. It was insane. And that's his main strategy, pretty much. That's what he uses. He also did a Hydra as well, I believe. So there's the versatility. But yeah, I have throughout all the competitions I logged, his hit rate was 74, which is insanely high. So yeah, I think there's an argument for it.
What do you think? Is there someone better? Is Rikiras better than Vic?
Well, no, obviously not. It's not even in the same not even in the same league. If Rakiris could triple, maybe, but we'll wait for that moment. Like, Vic has to be up there because that's just crazy what he's done. But if I'm not mistaken, there's a lot with like the P.E.K.K.A. Smash. I'd be more than happy to say he's the best P.E.K.K.A. Smash attacker in the world because like he just crushes bases. But honestly, the person that impressed me the most, because I'm pretty sure he hit last almost every wall, was Mock. Maybe Chase can back this up, but he came in with not just the same strategy every time. He came in with a bunch of different ones. And some of the attacks were just absolutely insane. He did a lot of those like attacks where he's like queen charge the base, king and RC with like the warden, and he'd just take out the entire base and then just, you know, pull the base apart, like properly dissect it, not like just kind of what a lot of people do when they're like, oh, I'll queen charge this and I'll just, you know, use the warden with the king and RC because why not? You could see why he was doing things, and I'm just like, that's just insane. I couldn't believe some of the attacks he was doing. But yeah, Vic you have to put up there. I mean, that's perfect throughout the year. But yet again, like the best player in Clash is just such a hard thing to set because it's such a day-to-day thing. If they did Worlds the weekend after, we might be here saying, is Stars the best player in the world sort of thing. I think it's a lot easier to talk about best player in the world in regards to strategies. Like Stars, best Blizzard Lalo player in the world. Vic, best P.E.K.K.A. Smash player in the world. Rakiris, best noob in the world. It's like those sort of things is a lot easier to like define.
And that is a fair point, is that actually the way that teams are sort of established now, the majority of teams, is that you have the first hitters that are maybe doing a certain strategy and then, or has like two strategies that they're like their go-to, and then you have other players that have their sort of like that are like the Lalo players and stuff like that. And that seems to be the way that that the game's evolved. Does that seem like is that fair enough? I don't have enough points to do anything.
Can confirm. Yeah, I think that's how a lot of teams operate now. They have specialty players almost like designated with, and we also saw that with the hit rate, like the hit order, where players using P.E.K.K.A. Smash, like I think Vic went first every time too. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he went first every time. So he went first and went perfect.
It's mental.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, at that point at the start of the war, you just say, Vic, take whatever you want. We'll work around you.
Yeah. And then you've got people like you're saying, Mock coming in who has a bit more time to break down a base and pull it apart. But yeah, it's like that combination of a guy that will just take a base and destroy it with that you can just rely on and opening up with a killer attack, and then someone that can dissect a base and put someone complicated in. It's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely a bit of. Sorry, you go, Chase.
You got no. You started first. You
got it. That's definitely something with like playing competitively. You're gonna always have people that pick like set strategies to master, because it's just so handy to have players like that who can like look through the 5 bases at the start and they're only looking for one strategy. And if they find a base they like, they take it and hit first. And then you have towards the end your more flexible attackers who are like, look, I've been left with this base. We're going to have to do something a bit different here. You need that for a successful team. The most obvious one is Stadra coming in for Queen Walkers, hitting first, probably 70-80% of the time, if not Gaku. And they're, Gaku hits with a wide range. It's that when he hits first, I feel like he hits with more the air spam, but particularly Stadra hits with P.E.K.K.A. Smash first, or any smash and destroys bases.
So the next one for you then, RJX Tiger are the favourites for next year. If you look at ATN last year, all the way through this year, they were the favourites. Are JX Tiger getting the same one, or do you think we've all learnt our lesson and no one will be backing JX Tiger quite as much? What do you think?
Oh, now teams are gonna be preparing for him, unless they have roster changes. But yeah, teams will probably prepare for him now.
What do you think?
It's just a stupid question.
All of these questions are stupid.
Well, Yeah, technically we are just talking about a pointless video game on a Twitch stream. So, I mean, everything's pointless if you want to go that far. But
You're really not a morning person, are you, Hooked, man?
I think this is the version of Hooked you wanted, though. So I'm glad we're here. I don't mind the morning. I haven't been that grumpy. It's just Rakiras who's taken most of it. Anyway, when it comes to Clash, like you can't really pick a favorite because you can't be like, oh, they're the favorites for next year because you don't even know if they're going to be at the World Championship. Like they've got to win one of the 8 qualifiers now. They've got to win one of the 8 qualifiers to get a spot. And like you could be the best team in the world and finish second at all of them, but you're not going to be at the World Championship at the end. So it's just, well, let's wait until someone wins the first, pre-qualified, then they'll be the favorites, just by default of they've got no one competing against them yet.
I like that.
But in terms of like knowing JX Tiger, I think people would have taken a bit from the event in terms of, how to potentially build against them, but they were so flexible in what they came at the base with. I don't know how I'd build to defend JX Tiger. Just hope that you can, I don't know, have a Town Hall 15, but keep their troops Town Hall 14 is probably your best chance.
They definitely had, I think they had a crazy number of perfect wars in there as well. That was the thing that was insane. Yeah. So, Chase, you got anything to add to that?
I did find it interesting that we did see a lot of repeat teams coming in, like from Town Hall 13 to Town Hall 14. There was ATN, there was Queen Walkers. I forget if Vatang was Vatang in Town Hall 13. Yeah, Tompanai. And
yes, Vatang were.
Yeah. And then in the last chance qualifier, there was a lot of good teams that were in, and good players that were in last year. So we could predict, you could predict who's going to make it next year, but it is still up in the air because it could be a totally different meta.
I just don't want to be clipped saying, "Oh, I'm going to predict these guys to win next year," and they're not even a team next year. They just completely follow.
JX Tiger announced the retirement in December. Yeah, in 2 weeks' time at Christmas. Yeah. What about, this is totally off topic, but we've not seen many new lineups sort of announced yet. But the one that we have seen is the Space Station Gaming one. What are we thinking about that? And does that look like an exciting new lineup?
I don't think that's even been announced yet.
It's not been announced.
Well, like that team will stay together. I just don't know if it's officially Space Station yet. I'm pretty sure they're trialing out at the moment. That's the whole point.
I saw them.
They never announce teams until January because most contracts go for, like, esports contracts are like 1 year sort of thing. So nothing will have been actually set in stone. But it does look that Space Station team does look very likely, to be fair. I wouldn't bet against it. But yeah, nothing will get announced until next year.
What are you thinking,
Sorry to
Chase?
cut you off like that.
No, that's fine. What are you thinking, Chase?
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. The announcement and stuff, but it looks pretty strong so far. And it's like a mixture of QSFN and Marinol and Bernal, right?
Yeah.
That's
it's an interesting mix. It's kind of like a Brazilian super team, but like Rick says, without Loop. So
yeah, yep. Yeah, it looks really good.
Surprised they didn't get Loop, but because Bernal started tweeting out like the letters of all the players on the team, and when L was there, almost everyone was writing Loop. But as someone who's had Leo on the channel before, I did think it might be Leo, but still, they're both crazy talented. That team's insane. I'll be so curious to see how they go next year.
Yeah, it's interesting. Hook, your face froze there. I don't know why, but I fixed it. You're unfrozen now, so don't panic.
Why do you get my face frozen at like the worst possible times?
Mate, it's not my fault. It just happens.
Sure.
These things happen.
Sure.
Conspiracy.
Let's blame Rick. Let's blame Rick. Let's blame Rakuris. It's probably his fault.
That wasn't me, Rakiris. That was Mackenzie.
Right, okay. The last bit we've had an update. What are your thoughts on these new troops? What are we liking? What's your favourite? Chase, you start us off. What's your favourite? Do you prefer the Super Dragon or the Flame Flinger? Which is difficult for me to say.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I like the Flame Flinger just because I'm a Lalo player and I've been trying to incorporate it with Sui Lalo, and it's been pretty insane so far. I mean, I'm sure base building is going to catch up to it shortly.
Yeah.
But so far, it's really strong.
M-Dubs, Chase just released a Flameflinger video on YouTube today. You're correct, man. And if you're watching on YouTube, it will appear above me now. And you can click on that video and go watch it. There we go. Well done, M-Dub. Good plug, mate. Hook, what are you thinking, man?
The Flame Fling is interestingly put together. It's a good unique siege, but it's my problem with it, right, is it's very absolute in terms of if you put it here, nothing can target it and it will take down this portion of the base. There's not really a lot you can do aside from a Skelly Trap or Teslas, but you can test for that with a balloon. Or a hog is probably the better one for the Skellies too. But it's very absolute, which is a problem. You can't have anything be that much of an absolute because otherwise there's just takes a lot of the skill out of the game. But what they've done to counter that absoluteness is just give it rubbish pathing and targeting AI, and that's just that's just two ends of the spectrum that just aren't good for a troop in a game. I've seen it some of the time when people put it down. There's 3 defenses on the outside of the base, and it just decides to just walk up, sit next to them, and shoot something in the middle of the base, and you just feel bad for the attacker because they've that shouldn't just happen. It should be able to pick the closest one. So that's a problem with it. You can't. It's not really a reliable troop now at this point because there's a 10% chance that something dumb's going to happen, and what are you meant to do with that? So I'd be okay with them making it slightly less strong but more reliable. So it's in that middle ground of there is a few kinks to it, it doesn't path between defenses particularly well. But it still targets the right one. I'd be okay with that. And then just, make it slightly less absolute. But it's a weird sort of, I like the concept. It probably needs to be worked with a little bit because you can't have it, just you place it and it just immediately goes in range of a cannon.
It's crazy strong though when it doesn't get targeted. It's the range on it and the actually so Game and Gold Gear is saying it's really slow. It is slow, but actually it takes down defenses pretty quick. Actually when it's targeting a building, it's maybe 2 or 3 hits and then that building's gone. So yeah, it doesn't move very quick, but actually it's got a long old life on it. It doesn't the log launcher's life depletes really quickly. This seems to deplete really slowly. And yeah, it's interesting. What about the Super Dragons? Are they the best looking troop in the game? That might be the only thing going for them, to be honest.
They're pretty strong, but yeah, best looking. Yeah, they could be. I'm trying to think of the other troops.
I don't think that's the only thing going for them, Mackenzie. They are brutally strong. They're particularly in Legends League. I don't know what to do against them. You put 2 SAMs in the core of the base and you've just taken half of its health.
Yeah.
And I don't have enough SAMs to only be taking a quarter of its health at a time. They are a very good looking troop. I love the color theme. But there's probably better looking troops in the game. But I think
they're the best looking troop. I think that's their best feature. I mean, okay, they're also strong and all that as well, but I think that's the best.
I did a drag bet with them the other day, and
see that Ryan knows what I'm saying.
I did a drag bet with them the other day, and in one of our wars, and I think I only used 4 of them with the flinger on the Eagle, and they just slowly cruise through the base, and then I'm just like, oh, none of them have died. Hang on, like they're taking all this damage. There's like a single Inferno that just frees it, and then yeah, they're all like half health. They're all still alive, and the base is gone. They're pretty insane.
So yeah, Ryan says, if you don't pick troops based on how they look, how do you decide it? See, Ryan knows. We're on the same.
If you've seen his hit rate, that comment makes sense.
Hooked with the pure shade, man. So the last bit I've got is Darian explained that this was meant to be a bigger update, alright? They put a wee announcement on Reddit saying they had somehow much bigger plans, but it didn't go right, it all went a little bit wrong, so they put that back, and so there's something bigger coming soon. What do we think it is? And if Chase, if you just want to share about ATN now, that would work as well. This is a good point to throw that speculation in. No.
That's the new update. They just need to wait for the roster to be official.
Exactly. Sorry, I cut out there. I didn't quite hear it.
You missed it. Oh, okay, cool.
Move on. No.
But what do we think?
The update that they're doing. They said it's basically something big.
Yeah,
so I want to say it's like something to do with. Oh God, I'm not sure. I heard something about friendly challenging your friends, like on your friends list. I feel like that's not big enough though. So I feel
it's
like
not complex either.
Yeah, you could. I feel like it's something with wars, bigger wars, maybe. I don't know.
What do you think, Hooked? I genuinely have no idea where he's going with, where Darian was going with this, but it's an interesting one.
The thing that got me was when they said it's so complex and we can't release it in one part yet. We'd have to release it like a bit here and a bit now. That's what got me out of the whole thing. I'm 90% sure it's a new game mode. They've been talking about adding a new game mode forever, and the game needs it. But like a few weeks ago on my stream, I just got down with like the community, and like we talked about some things we'd like to see in the game to bring the spark back, because Clash isn't like growing at this point. It's not really dying, but it's not going anywhere because there's been no real actual new content aside from Townhall 14 this year. And we got like 10 ideas, and I love lots of them, but none of them looked like complex enough to describe what Darian's describing. So that's what got me. I was like, we've got all of these good ideas here, but it doesn't really fit what he was notioning. So I'm kind of unsure at this point.
It's quite exciting though, eh? It's like I think you say I think it's something that Clash needs. I think now that I'm maxed and work got a bit busy, and so I dropped out of Legends, and actually like logging on to do an attack when I know I've not got the time to actually put in to try and push all the way back up through Titans and actually do a bit of a session. Do you know what I mean? It needs, there's not that sort of draw right now. I still love watching wars and all that sort of stuff, but in terms of playing it, it's lost that little bit of spark for me. So I'm looking forward to seeing whatever it is they've got coming up in this next bit. Hooked, I've just realised it's 9:05. Are you meant to be streaming a war right now?
Yeah, they've just matched. They're in prep day, that's fine.
Viewers' questions time. Anyone got any questions? Go for it. Feel free to throw them in the chat. We're going to raid into Hooked before he's even gone live, possibly. So throw questions in right now. Chase, have you got any final words? Anything you want to ask Hooked?
You know what I just remembered though, with for the big update. Like I remember Boom Beach had that thing where you get a bunch of people together and you raid a super base. Could be something like that. That'd be pretty wild.
Well, that was one of the things like we came up with. Yeah. But I think someone said in my chat that Darian's once addressed that idea and said they wouldn't do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But that could have been a while ago. I don't have a date stamp or anything on that. But that would be a cool thing. I'd do content on that.
Yeah.
A base with like
complex.
A base with 40 scatter shots. and you've just got to take it down bit by bit, I'm in.
Yeah, like a team effort with your clan. I think that would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hooked, I'm just pulling up your channel at the same time. That's what I'm doing. You've not gone live yet though, so you know.
Well,
as soon as you're live. And I've managed to
probably
freeze your
jump off
face.
and go live.
Oh, there we go. Every time this.
Did I look great this time?
Yeah, probably, man.
Oh, that's actually a great one. It's me giving some side eye. I can live with that one. It's much better than the others.
You make that one. You make that wee emote, man. Perfect.
Is Hooked intimidated by Chase's beard, or intimate? Wait, what do you want? Intimated or intimidated, Perry?
I think he means intimidated. Surely.
Oh
boy.
No, but the beard is great. That was the first thing I was like, damn, that's a nice beard. That's just not my thing. I'm happy looking 14 for the moment.
I had a shave before I came on because I basically had like the beard was just like creating a really weird double chin sort of thing. I didn't like it, man. So actually, when Hook says I'll be on in 10 minutes at 5 to 8, I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go and have a quick shave. Perfect. That's why I disappeared.
You're welcome.
Perfect, man. It was great. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a bit of a strange one, because it's been so early for you, Hooked, and
fine.
And I've had a great time. Thank you for coming on. We won't put this on YouTube and all that sort of stuff. Chase, sorry for putting you on the spot with stats. I'm like just expecting you to spit them out, but there we go. Usvi's just answered a huge question. Wait there now. August qualifiers, Zia and Vane, it was interesting to see 2 16-year-old players playing there. First year this was even possible. Is this a new direction of the game? What do you think? I always thought experience having a big role for Clash. How much do you think experience plays in it? Does that make sense?
Experience is obviously important, but it's all about just like your ability to deal with pressure. And that's not something that's always correlated with experience. There's some people that come in and have little experience, but you can just tell that they're ice cool when they're doing an attack, and they don't feel any of the nerves. Like, I think that's more important than experience these days. Just being able to, like, you know, because if you execute everything correctly, then you triple. It's kind of that simple. There's not a lot of base can do about that. If base building's stronger, then experience matters more and more because it's about, you know, realizing where things can go wrong. Thank you for this, Mackenzie. You're awesome.
No worries, man.
Always enjoy watching these ones and seeing what people say. Hopefully I gave some insight, or at minimum just insulted someone who was at the World Championship enough for it to be interesting.
Mate, it's quality. That's all I want, to be honest. You know, just wanted to, and I like the beef between Townhall 12. Is Townhall 12 the best Townhall level? Is it the best looking Townhall level? You know, I like that beef there as well, man. It was brilliant. So thank you so much for coming on. Perry have been awesome.